on and on. So we're meant to be in a quiet period, but no such thing as quiet in our practice, right?
Nope. I know, I have to book my diary because otherwise I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing today?
I know. Everyone says, aren't you meant to be close and quiet? And I said, no. Those two words do not exist in the aesthetics dictionary.
So much true. I mean, it's a perfect opportunity to be learning things anyway. Because
absolutely.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's the one thing. If anybody says one of the good things that came out of lockdown was the opportunity to learn and refresh and stuff.
I know.
And that's continued. Yeah.
Lots of silver linings from the last lockdown and then now into this one. And it's funny, right? I feel like we're just even more prepared. Although we're closed, we're even more prepared for this one, and we're doing so much more, aren't we?
Yeah. But I mean, we've had practice now.
A lot of practice.
And hopefully this is the last time. We don't need to practice anymore. We know what to do now, so it's okay. That's fine.
Yes. So to end the lockdown special, I want to end it with my Cheryl Marsha Williams. Well, better way, because hopefully we'll be back in March to, do what we love what we do, which is see and treat. It's all about patients, right? And I just thought, I've had the pleasure and honor of getting to know you for 3.5 years. And I feel like, especially now with you being shortlisted as finals in the Aesthetic Awards.
That's so exciting.
It's super exciting and just so well deserved. And, I've had the opportunity of knowing why you were shortlisted and how, and all of your experience and expertise and just life about you. And I would love for everybody else to know what I know. So I just thought this would be a wonderful opportunity, as we come out of lockdown, for everybody to know a little bit more about their Cheryl Marsha Williams.
Okay.
So look, Cheryl, I always start off with, a bit about you, where you're from. Like me, you've grown up overseas. So do you mind just sharing, where you were born and just your life?
Okay. I was born in Trinidad in the Caribbean, and the second of 4 children. So I've got an elder brother and a younger brother and sister. Mm-hmm. We all do totally different things in our life, but we're all really close as brothers and sisters, which is really nice. I'm from a huge family because my dad was from a family of 13 and my mom was from a family of 4. So I have cousins and cousins and cousins and aunts and uncles everywhere, all over the world, which is really nice because it's nice when we did a Zoom catch up in the new year, and it was like, who are you? Where are you? Who do you belong to? Was the big question, because we were trying to connect up all the dots, which was really nice because you saw faces and you could connect names. Anyway, so that's me. Yeah, and I spent all my life growing up in Trinidad, and I came to England when I was 18 to do my nurse training, which I started, as I was checking back, it was the 17th of February 1977, which was 44 years ago, which is really crazy. So that's when I started my nurse training in Southampton. So Southampton University Hospital, I did my RGN there. And then I worked as a staff nurse on the paediatric ward because I always wanted to be a nurse and I always wanted to work with children. So that was my dream. And yeah, it was good. And worked on the pediatric ward, and then decided I was going to do my pediatric training and went to Oxford to John Radcliffe to do my peds training there. And that was an amazing hospital to training because they were so innovative and proactive. It was lovely. And then after I qualified, I worked on a plastic surgery ward for children, which I think is where my aesthetics really got into gear, because we had all our babies with cleft lip and palates and burns and all that kind of amazing surgery that could be done to make it better for the children. So that was really nice. And then I decided I'd go back to Trinidad. Okay. I went back to Trinidad and I worked in the neonatal unit, which was in the main hospital in Trinidad, which was a very busy 32-bedded neonatal unit with lots of prem babies and little ones. Worked there for a while, and then I thought, one thing in my life is I always need balance. So I do a little bit of nursing, and then I'm like, I need to do something to balance that out. Yeah. And that's how I am anyway. So I decided I will go and do photography. because photography is what I loved. And a friend of mine who was a really good photographer in Trinidad who did commercial photography was looking for an assistant. So I thought, I can go and do this. And I did. And so that was fun. So I did that for a few years. And when I was doing that, I started doing more dressmaking because my mom was an amazing seamstress. Even that was not her job. She was she worked in the government, and actually when she left, she was the second woman in Trinidad to hold her position in the government, which was an amazing feat for women in those days. But she was, I think her attention to detail and focus is what I got that from her, and also from my dad, because he was a geological draftsman. And so the two offices were totally different. I'd go to my mum's office and she would be behind files and paper and minutes and stuff. And I go to my dad and he'd have his art board and he'd draw maps and stuff. And so I'm very much half of both of them in the way that is. Anyway, so yes, I decided I would have a boutique. And I would sew. I sewed for my boutique and I sewed for other boutiques. And I did that for a while. I made wedding dresses and all sorts of crazy things. And then I missed my nursing. And so came back to England and went back into nursing and worked on a cardiac pediatric ward. And I was there for 16 years. Started off as a staff nurse, ended up as senior sister ward manager. Which was a great place to be, because we saw so many changes from children who had like PDAs, little holes in their hearts, and when I started, they did open heart surgery to close them, and by the time I left, we were closing them with umbrellas through a catheter. So such a wide range of growth in that time. So that was an amazing way. And while I was there, they decided that they were going to do, nurses were going to actually be allowed to do degrees. So I decided, and then when they had the pediatric degree, I did my Bachelor of Science pediatric degree, which was amazing because it was the first group to do it. And I was very proud to do that, which was a little bit crazy being a senior sister and studying for my degree at the same time. Yeah, it was fun. So I did that. And then I worked in the IT part of, they decided we were going computerized and having care plans on the computer. So I set up the pediatric care plans for the whole of HCA. So that was something different as well. But I continued with my nursing, and then my friend decided she wanted to do some beauty therapy. She was a sister on the adult floor. And again, here's where my balance comes in. And I decided I wanted to do some massage therapy. And so that's how I started actually getting in. I went to her beauty therapy training and aesthetic training, and she was my massage therapy buddy. And then, so about 19 years ago, she decided she was going to work with a plastic surgeon and leave classical nursing, traditional nursing, and go into aesthetics. And she said, are you going to come with me? So I was like, okay. So I left. And I decided I would go and do that, which everybody thought I was a little bit crazy to have given up all those years in nursing to go and be an aesthetic nurse who nobody knew what aesthetics was really. So it was just the beginning. But it's an amazing place to be 19 years later.
Cheryl, that's just a beautiful story, honestly. I love the fact that you've covered so much from, as you say, where you were born up until how you got into aesthetics. You know, thank you so much. Cheryl, could I pause you there for just a second? Can you still see me?
Yeah.
You can. Can you still see us both side by side?
I can, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to find you because I think the girls are actually creating Zoom links for me. So that whole thing has now changed.
I saw you looking as to where was I?
Okay, let me just check. Was that an obvious? I need to create like more of a game face. You know, it's like
no, because I realized that you looked a bit like something's not the same.
I'm just going to tell the girls to not create any Zooms for the moment. Yeah, because like, I don't know what's going on. Hang on. Okay, give me a sec. This is all recording, so we're going to splice it anyway. Two ticks. Sorry, Cheryl.
It's okay.
Let me just check. We are still recording. Okay, great. No, I just want to make sure because I was doing one with somebody else and it didn't record. So I don't want to repeat this again. Lovely. I think you've actually covered so much of that, Cheryl. So you know, Cheryl got you covered from when you were born, from the diversity and the balance. You talk about balance, but that's like learning whole new things all over again. You went from nursing and then you became a seamstress and then you had a boutique and then you did wedding dresses. So yeah, it's amazing to think what kind of other services you'll be able to offer here in us.
But you know, my life has always been like that. I need to have the creative side of me as well as the wellness side of me. Otherwise, I feel like I always need to do those two things together.
Yes, and I feel that's what you deliver here every day. You know, the creative side that comes with the sculpting and the draining and the microneedling and knowing how, you know, different thicknesses of skin in different parts of the face are, and so you can be so versatile and creative even with something like intensive, right?
I think the background to all those things are so important because I seriously believe the beauty is from the inside, and what we do on the outside just goes to make that better.
Yes.
And so everything I do, I think that's why I think for me wellness is really important, and you know, my relaxation and meditation and Reiki, all those things make you more settled and more at peace with yourself, and then your beauty can naturally just come out. And so we're only there to just help along a bit. And you know, things have changed so much from when we first started S-Thetics. You know, like the growth, the learning curve was just straight up, and you just had to stay on it, otherwise you'd fall off. Because you know, fillers change. I started off with Zyderm and Zyplus, which was collagen fillers, and you had to test patch somebody for 3 days before to see they weren't allergic to the collagen. And now if you told somebody they had to do that, they'd look at you like, oh, why would you have to do that? You know, so many, but on the other side now, there's so many choices that you really have to be very specific about what's important for you and your clinic and what you need, like you are, you know. And science is important, matching science with beauty, matching the results at the end of the day. And otherwise you can just get carried away. There's just, in a sense, almost like we've gone the other way, and we need to kind of come back a bit so that that you give the patients exactly the best option for them without all the other things on the outside.
It's so true.
I think that's one of the things I've learned having been in it for so long. It's that you can just look at some things and think, it's okay, I don't need to do that. I don't want to go there. And other things really interest you.
Thank you. And you were telling us about how you evolved into aesthetics, and you mentioned the initial days where you were with your colleague of yours and you started off with massage and then you went into beauty. So how did it actually then evolve into you coming into aesthetic medicine?
Basically, she decided one of her good friends who was a plastic surgeon, he decided they were going to go into business together and have an actual clinic. And she just said, do I want to come and join them? So I said yes. Just like that. And so we spent a lot of our time just learning everything together. So we learned all about fillers, we learned all about neurotoxins, we learned all about skincare, and even skincare has gone from being just like vitamin C and vitamin A to just being this whole range of, now we have genetic C and working on genetic levels in the skincare. So such a big, and still the learning curve continues. But now we know what's important, and we have a lot of education. We know what the skin does, which before the skin was just the skin, but now we know all the things underneath and all the things that make a difference to having healthy skin, and how the gut affects the skin, and and having products that actually work, all the new I can't think of the word now, like the Totally Dermis and the drinks that actually stimulate collagen. Yes, that.
You know me, with every one of these conversations, I make it super bespoke to who I'm interviewing. So yes, can you share with us why you love this?
Because the first thing that really got me because there have been lots of different collagen drinks around, but when that said it was 90% bioavailable, which meant that it did what it said.
Yes.
They worked it out. They said it worked on the gut. They said it worked on stimulating collagen for the whole body. It works on the skin, on the joints, and it actually does what it says.
Yeah, it does. It works on the joints. I mean, that's what I loved about learning about it,
Yeah, and it works on the skin, because if we have if it's good and strong from inside, then what we do, like, the different treatments to stimulate collagen with the energy-based machines and laser and stuff, are all going to work so much better. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, we want the best for our patients. We want them to be able to have really good results for what they, because they come to us for that advice, and that's what we need to give them.
Absolutely. And when it came to you then being in aesthetics, so you started learning about your toxin and your fillers, do you mind sharing with us that first journey with the Botox? I mean, where was it then? Botox didn't exist back then.
It was just all coming into play, because it was, and I actually feel that I was one of the lucky ones, because in a sense, although the learning curve was steep, we dripped feeded into different things. We learned some skin, and we learned some about lasers, and the lasers changed from being these really big, heavy, aggressive machines to being really, like a Picoshore laser, really smooth, being able only to treat skin type 1 to 2 to 3, now that we can treat skin type 5 to 6. So huge range of changes that way. And so, when patients came, then we didn't have things like visiers and vectors to help us. So it was very much like what you saw, what you thought, what the patient said, what they wanted, to marry them together. Now, life is much easier in the sense that you have your patient, you can do a visier, you can do a vector, and you can get a measured, clear picture of what's actually going on above and below the skin, and so you can actually assess that much better. But it was fun in the beginning. It was fun learning, and when we did injectables, it was like we went for the line. We thought, oh, there's a line there, let's just put some filler in there. Now we know we don't do that. We use the anatomy and physiology, and we work from underneath in a different way to structure and to come up to the surface.
That's right. It's so important how you say that. Actually, we did used to just, myself included, chasing the lines, filling a fold, putting a little bit here, like a little bit here, a little bit there. There wasn't really any structure to our approach.
2 mils of filler in when we started was a lot. If you did 2 mils of filler, you thought, oh my goodness, what did I do?
Absolutely.
Now you can, that 2 mils of filler is great just for one time, one place, but yeah, depends on what they need, but yeah.
Exactly. And when it comes to your learning about skin, so now, as you said, we have the power of imaging. I mean, you've been working with Visier for well over 20 years, right?
Coming into that, I mean, I've been doing aesthetics for 19. So I think when I first came into it, no. So I think maybe about
15?
16 years, somewhere around there, when I would say that. So a long time. But even Visio's changed a lot. There were only 4 images on the Visio when we first had it. Now there's 6. And it gives you much more detailed information than when we first had it. But when we first had it, it was amazing that you can actually see what was going on underneath the skin as well as above the skin.
So really, tech and imaging has been the real revolution for you, because it didn't exist when you first started out in aesthetics. Whereas now, I mean, when you look at my practice, it's like tech is all around us.
Well, yeah, but technology has made a huge difference to everything. Even like our fillers, the needles are different, the cannulas are different. And but neurotoxins and Botox, you can get the finest needles now. So, I think everything has worked together to make it better and to be more I say it's exquisite. It's so precise, which I love, because to me, attention to detail is very important. So, so things like that, I get really excited about. And then some people think I'm a little crazy, but no, it excites me.
You know us, we're obsessed about the detail, right? So nothing wrong with that. So if you had to think about, because you also told me a story once about topical skincare, and if you look at our topical skincare now, you said we've got something for the genes, and we've got this, and we've got so much choice. What choices did you have 18 to 20 years ago?
Vitamin C and retinol.
That's it. 2 things. That is it.
That's what you had. So vitamin C in the morning and retinol at night. And it wasn't not prescription retinol, but the dermatologist did prescription retinol. We didn't have that. Yes. We just had vitamin A.
Vitamin A. When did it all change? Because what do you think of now when you see the amount of choice that a prospective patient or consumer have? Any thoughts and ideas for them on any advice?
I think it gets very confusing. It can do. It reminds me of when I go into somewhere like Selfridges and I'm just like, oh my goodness, there's just so much choice. So you want somebody then, you need someone then who understands you, your skin, what you want, and what is the best thing available for you. And that's where hopefully we come in and we get, we're trained to do that. But on the other hand, there's so much possibility that you can have your vitamins, your antioxidants, your for pigmentation, for rosacea, for inflammation. You can treat so much more. Yes. And so that's really nice, because anybody who walks through the door, you should be able to give them have something for them. And our skincare range with IS Clinical is amazing, because it's got what we need, and the products work. They're botanical. They give you exactly all the antioxidants you need, and they're specific. And so, and you can grade them up. You can start them off on a slower protocol and then upgrade them, which is really nice, because also it's nice for the patient to feel that they're moving along and their skin is getting better and they have more choices.
It's so true. It's that whole evolution, of the patient journey, but also our journey within the patient journey. We learn so much being part of that whole process, right?
Yeah, and so, and we have to keep learning, because it doesn't stop. Every time and the company is great, because they're progressing and they keep innovating and giving us more options, and so our patients they're the lucky ones.
I would say we have something here for everyone.
We do.
What have been like the biggest changes? Because you mentioned 17th of February and you're coming up to 40 years on the 17th of February.
17th of February, I started my nursing 44 years ago.
4 years ago. So that's...
Yeah. The biggest change. Wow.
In aesthetics. You mentioned...
I think just our knowledge of skin and how it's affected by everything.
Yes.
you know, it's from our external environment to what we eat, you know, if we don't sleep, all those things. And so a patient coming in now who is an aesthetic patient, we have to ask them so many questions just to understand their whole life, not just looking at their skin and thinking, oh, let me give you this. You know, you have to get it to see the patient as holistically as a whole, you know, what's their lifestyle, how they eat, sleep, drink, what makes a difference to them, to their life, their skin, to their family. And yeah, and so then you can have a better picture.
Absolutely. And I think that's where, when I first met you, we just were so aligned in that whole concept, and the whole concept of the consultation process. And, you know, I remember you telling me when you deliver the consultation process, you just listen.
Yeah. I think I always remember somebody saying to me, I must listen to understand and not listen to ask questions. Yes. Because if I understand, then I have a better understanding of them as what they need, rather than me just asking lots of questions.
Yes, absolutely. And look, I've got some of your top things here that you like. I've already showed you one of them. Any guesses what else I might have here? So this is a little quiz time for Cheryl Marshall-Williams.
Oh, let's see. Is it skincare or is it treatments?
Bit of everything. No hand pieces though. They're all
no hand pieces. Okay. So if it's skincare, then it's got some serum.
You know what? That's the one thing I've left out there, because the girls are actually doing virtual Zoom consultations now. They're teaching everybody application process. But I love, as you say, you call it.
That's okay. Right. Okay. So you showed me totally derma.
Yeah. Anything else?
Well, I mean, I must be my newer or.
I do have that there, yes. In fact, holding it the wrong way around. Yes. Anything you can tell us, top tips for newer, to your audience out there?
Top tips for newer. I would say keep using it.
Use it, yes.
Use it, because it doesn't work if it stays in the drawer.
So true. Use it.
And it's so easy to use. Just put your gel on, turn it on, and stimulate your collagen and elastin. And, you know, it's, as they say, we lose 1% of collagen after 30 every year. So after 12 weeks of using newer properly, you can stimulate nearly 4% of collagen, which is like putting back 4 years of your skin health, which is
significant.
Yes,
everybody
needs that.
I don't know anyone who wouldn't want to put back 4 years of collagen in 90 days. You know,
without any needles, without any downtime, and just at home for half an hour at a time.
I know, and a perfect addition to the in-clinic Endimed, because you are, after all, the Endimed Queen of Europe. You are.
Yes, I've been using Endimed for about 11 years now, and Shireen calls me the Queen of Europe because I'm one of the first practitioners to actually hold an Endimed machine in England and actually be trained to use it. Yes. And it's my favorite treatment altogether.
It's a beautiful treatment, and you know, the tightening and contouring, you know, you actually do for me, and I love the way that I'm still holding on to, you know, I just need to hold on to the jawline, right? And also you can tell the difference when you treat one side and you don't treat. Like, this is like an untreated Sharina right now. So I've not had an Endimed for what, 2.5, 3 months now. I need the Endimed.
But you know, it's what you say about your skin, you can feel it. When you do your treatments, you can feel the firmness in your skin. It just, everyone says that. They're like, you know, and when you told me that's how I'm going to feel, they thought, I don't know that I understand totally. But once they've had their treatments and they're onto their maintenance, they're like, I can feel my skin feels it. And I love Endimed because it has so many options that you can do with it.
It does. Yeah. It really does. And then you talked about Endimed Intensive as well. You know, I just want to say with Intensive, that is your radiofrequency with the microneedling. You've been doing it constantly here for the last 3.5 years. And I don't know many practitioners in the world that can sink 1,000 needles in any patient and have them still love you the way they do, Cheryl.
Because they have a really great result at the end of it. So, but the amazing thing about intensive is, although that they're hot and they're red when they're finished, the downtime is so minimal. And by the time they get home, most of that redness is gone, and they've begun to cool down.
Absolutely.
And so once they've had their first treatment, they know what to expect, and it's not so crazy. The only thing is, yeah, we do try to do it not in the middle of summer, because it's kind of hot to leave here with a face that's really hot and go out into a really hot day. But other than that, it's fun.
And I think that's the thing. It's the expectation of the treatment itself. It is going to be hot. It's going to be punchy. But the reason our patients recover so quickly, because of the elegance of the technology, it just does the job, and then it seals up the blood vessels, so you don't have that undesirable redness. And all of our patients are also prepared topically with high-tech facials, and so they actually just have a really super fast recovery in that result. I remember you saying when you see it at 1 year, they look totally different.
You do, because you've maintained, because with the radio frequency, we do the course of treatments, but then we also encourage them to maintain their results. So, well, you know, every 3 months to have whether it's a tightening and contouring, and every 6 months to have an intensive. And if they've done the course already, then they just need to do one. And it makes a huge difference as it builds and the collagen keeps being stimulated, and it's age defying. So that's what I don't like anti-aging. I like, you know, that we just keep the skin healthy.
Yes. I call it my bank of collagen.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, that's what you're doing. You just keep that stimulation going. And so that's what you want.
Right. Next magic ingredient. You wish. I haven't told you any of this.
No, I'm trying to think what might be on your table.
What do you like doing a lot of? Well, apart from Med.
Doing my massage.
Yes, we can. Massage.
In my needles. Profhilo. Profhilo at its best.
Profhilo is its best. Tell me about this, because you love this.
I do love Profhilo, because Profhilo is like giving your skin a drink of water, but at the right depth where it just spreads underneath. Because Profhilo is just pure hyaluronic acid, and it's just 2 different strengths of hyaluronic acid. It's injected just underneath the skin in a very measured, specific place, where they've spent a lot of time working out with the movement of the face where is the best place for the injections to spread once you put it. And so there's 5 injections on each side. There's, I would say, very little downtime. When you do leave, you do look like you have little bumps, and that's great, because that's because we've put it in the right place. If I inject it, and the only time it just goes totally away is in the cheek, but because there's a lot of space for it there. But over the bone, on the cheekbone, that can stay for a few hours.
Yes.
But other than that, it's gone. Unless you inject the neck. The neck, you need a scarf. So there's 2 mils, and you put in, and 1 syringe will give you both sides of the face or both sides of the neck. And
we need to do this twice in a month, right? A month apart.
You do it 6 weeks apart.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if, for example, someone like myself, when would you repeat it, Cheryl, once you've done the series of the 2, 4 to 6 weeks?
Every 6 months.
6. I think it's a no-brainer, because if you think about it, we are losing 1% hyaluronic acid, 1% collagen, elastin, all of those things every single year. And there'll be things like stress, sugar, glycation, cigarette smoking, alcohol, sun, that are going to speed up that acceleration of loss. And so why wouldn't you?
What it does is just plump up the skin. It just makes the skin glow from the inside out. You can see this difference in the skin once they've had it. It doesn't change structure, so it's not a filler. It's not going to, it gives you a little bit of lift, and because it also plumps up the lines and wrinkles, but it's a very natural change to the skin with the injectables. And so, yeah,
Every
I
patient,
would say everybody should have.
I think everybody should have injectables like this because it's a like for like, you're replacing it. And then also the other thing, because you're restoring the hydration, the water content, the hyaluronic acid gets better. And then your anti-med and all of your other RF procedures actually perform so much better, don't they?
Yeah, you need hydrated skin to actually get the best result from any energy-based treatments.
Absolutely. So what else do I have here? I have, actually, this is something very new, which didn't exist back then, but I'd love to know your thoughts.
Carave.
Yes.
So Carave is one of our newest, bestest treatments. It's all about the hair, and it's for men, women, and it's just for the scalp more than the hair, because a really healthy scalp means that your hair is going to grow really strong. And it's part of our treatment that we do. What Sharina was showing you first was the Carave for the home. What she's showing you now is Carave in the ampules, and that's part of our, we use with our hydrofacial machine with a special tip for scalp cleaning and for getting the Carave into the scalp. And it's a really nice treatment, and it works. It basically uses the technology of hydrofacial, which is deep cleansing and stimulating using the Carave, which is 5 growth factors and 2 proteins, which stimulate growth of hair. So it cleans the scalp, which means that when you put the products in, they go in. So it's not sitting on top, because we wash our hair and we wash our scalp, but we don't really scrub it. And so it gets all the, you know, it gets rid of all the shampoo and the oils and stuff, so that just like when you do the hydrofacial, you cleanse the skin, and then what you put on penetrates deeper. Carave penetrates. So the treatment is for the scalp, for healthy scalp. The proteins and the peptides grow the hair. And yeah, you do 1 treatment a month. You do 3 treatments. And then you can do a maintenance treatment every 6 months. But what you do have, you do a treatment in the clinic, and then you have that bottle to take home. And that contains the same peptides and growth factors as we use in clinic. No brainer. And it just used once a day and massage it into the scalp for the growth. And we've had patients now that on and off, unfortunately, because of lockdown, we've not been able to follow them totally through the process. But even for that, we've had amazing results of patient that we can show, that we've seen growth in the hair. And then we also have some artificial intelligence pictures that can measure the growth, which is what we like to do to find the results.
And amazing, right? Watching this evolve in the practice for a whole year, because when you bring a brand new treatment like this in, you go in with good faith, and we do, because we love hydrofacial. We just know it works. And it's been wonderful. And thank you for, you know, being involved in our 1-year European case study clinic project with Canfield and hydrofacial. And we've actually clinically proven that with the hair metrics, we see follicle count increasing, we see hair density, we see the width, you know, interfollicular distance, all these really positive changes come about.
And a really healthy scalp.
Healthy scalp. But, you know, like you felt it as well, Cheryl. Whenever I have it, I just feel like someone's just kind of unplugged something off my head, and I actually feel
the scalp feels clean and the hair feels very light. Yeah.
And I think the technology now having, you know, we had that extra information during the extra hour with Dr. James Bartholomew's, and he was telling us how it is like for like what you have in here, obviously been diluted a little bit more to fit into the amount of volume that can last you a whole month. But it's nice to know that the concentrations are pretty much the same. So it's about exactly like you said, with the newer, you have to use it. If you don't use it, we don't get it, right?
No. And yeah, I mean, having that conversation with him was really illuminating, because, you know, it's his baby, he developed the protocol, but you can see that the amount of work that went into just getting the right amount and the right growth factors to stimulate. And it's for men and women. And a lot of women, you know, even before menopause, sometimes it's just through pregnancy, but hormonal changes gives you that thinning of the hair. And we don't, as women, we tend not to talk about it. The men, you know, they just happily go bald. But women have the thinning hair, and it's really nice to be able to have something that we can show them that it works and have it there for them to be able to use.
Well, you know, I'm really enjoying the results from mine. I feel my hair is just shinier now, especially my new hair compared to my old hair that needs chopping off after this lockdown. And the sides have grown back thicker because I've been using it religiously for almost a year. What else do I have around here? What else do I have? Oh, I've got one more. I've got one more. And you have a full body version upstairs in your suite.
Ah.
Any guesses?
Body serum.
That's
Saluma. When you said I have a body
serum twice. I know that's your favorite. Yes. Tell me what you think about our new amazing Saluma.
Oh, LED treatments that I don't know where to start with it. Where do I start? It's amazingly flexible. We can twist it, we can get it on their different sizes. You can go just for the back, just for the body. The one Sharina has there is the Pro. So you can put it around the face. You can put it for the face, neck, and décolletage. You can actually have it just down your back. I saw you setting up for your consultations this morning, and you had one sat up in the chair already. And it worked. We call it the light for the body and for the family, because you can
close off for the back, just so it touches close, just to let you know.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the LED works for, there's red and there's blue and there's near infrared. So it works for rejuvenation, it works for acne, it works for, on the other hand, it works for pain as well. So we can use it for areas of the body, like that's why we had it on the back, shoulders. The smaller ones can wrap around the knees.
It actually goes absolutely everywhere. But yeah,
you can just keep it and use it. It works on the skin. And it's half an hour.
It is.
And as I say, the whole family can use it, because it can just easily clean.
Again,
and it can rejuvenate, and it helps with sleep. It helps with pain. It helps with rejuvenation, and I want one.
We all want one. That's mine, actually. So I brought it in because I like to use it for myself. We have 3 upstairs. So, you know, we've built it into all of our high-tech faces.
Yeah, it's amazing to use after all our treatments, because it just helps the skin to rejuvenate and to calm. Depends on what we want it for. So like if we've done something and the skin is a bit in red, or we can calm the skin, or you can use it to stimulate the skin. The choice is yours.
I think we're now in a direction and a league of our own, where our patients are going through so much more. You know, they have gone through so much already, and the last 1 year has been, you know, it's been, you know, lots going on. And when they come back in March, they want faster, better quality results, etc. And we've already seen with the 3.5 years of us being together, Cheryl, that we're capable now, that we've learned so much more about the topicals, the high-tech facials, and the skincare, and even things like perk for the lips and the eyes, that we are. And now with Saluma add-on, we're getting faster results in that first 6-week skin cycle than you and I ever have achieved before, right?
That's right. Definitely.
Mm.
And it's what the patient needs as well, because they're busy and they want results, and they should have results.
They should deserve. Everybody deserves a good result. And so, you know, now that we introduce S-Thetics at home, all of these treatments available at home, but patients have access to us like this. Everything's come such a long way. So here we are.
And it's going to change, and it's going to be different for some things, but it's great in another way, because we've had to adapt. We've had to make changes, but it's good because then the patients can sit at home, can do their home facials, you know, and then come into the clinic and do their, you know, in-clinic treatments, and get the best of both worlds and get better results and maintain their results, which is really good.
Absolutely. But look, on that note, you are in the finals for Aesthetic Nurse Practitioner of the Year. I'm so excited. I'm so proud.
I'm so honored.
As do I. But look, you know, what do you have to, how do you feel about that? You deserve it.
Thank you. I'm very honored. I suppose it's very strange because I do what I do because I really love what I do, and I have always done. And yeah, it's nice to be honored for something that you really love doing, and to be able to continue to do it.
Excellent. Well, I will be there cheering you on as you attend in your red dress, I'm sure. But look, you know, you have been a nurse for, you know, coming up to 44 years in a few days' time. What advice do you have for other budding nurses out there, people who are thinking, other girls who are thinking, and boys, of going into a nursing degree?
I think it's, you know, if it's something that really is from the heart, then you should do it. I think nursing, they say nursing is a vocation, but it's also a profession. So I think you need both. And that's why I'm really glad that I was able to do my degree in nursing, because I think we've gone past it being just something that you do just like that. So I think it has both those aspects. It's not easy all the time, but then nothing good ever is. And I think there's so much to learn personally from it, as well as so much to give to your patients. I love it. It's just, I can't imagine doing anything else. Like, you know, I like all my other things, but it's all part of my wellness and that part of, for me, I suppose that sounds really crazy to say girl power, but I love looking after my mums, because when I did my peds, all the mums were so stressed out because of their kids were sick. And I always think I really would, you know, just like to do something for them as an individual. And now, so yeah, I don't have my patients like that anymore, but still I have a big affiliation to that. And so, yeah, and I think we should look after each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think moving forward for me, I think regenerative aesthetic medicine is where I'd like, because I suppose moving full circle, I want to learn more about how the body works best to regenerate itself. You know, that's why one of the things I love about Antimed, it stimulates the body to create its own collagen, to get that back on track. You know, IS Clinical, we use products that work on genetics. You know, the Saluma works on the ATP of the cells to stimulate the cell energy to be good. So to me, all those things are where we should be heading. That's what I'd like.
You know, you've hit the nail on the head on that one. You know, what really fascinated me about this whole profession 10 plus years ago was the fact that you can trigger the body and you can actually manipulate the collagen in a very positive way. From my point of view, it was all about wound healing and scarring, etc., to get that tissue functioned and recovered well. But then obviously you had an aesthetic benefit, you know, for improvement in quality of life, reduction in stigma, you know, not being judged, improvement in self-confidence, self-esteem. So, you know, I completely agree with where you're coming from. It always has been, it always will be. But now as you see this kind of technology coming to home, literally coming to home. My dog Spartacus is underneath.
True.
You know, we have to have a fight over it, a friendly fight. But no, you've shared so much with the world out there. I'm just so delighted that we've been able to do this.
Thank you.
I look forward to welcoming you back. And
I can't wait to come back.
We're going to have a fun time, and our patients are going to have some fabulous treatments and results to look forward to. Any words of advice and well wishes to your patient fan out there, Cheryl, and your colleague fan?
To my patients, I look forward to seeing you soon. Just stay well, stay happy, but also enjoy this time, because it's a good time on another way. You know, there's time to do some of the things we kept saying, oh, I don't have the time to do X, Y, and Z. And if we don't use it, we lose it. And you know, there is good that comes out of it in another way. And so yeah.
I agree. Well, on that note then, cheers, Cheryl. I have my cup of green tea.
Good. I have my water.
I thought you might have your water, but yes, I have my green tea as always. But no, thank you so much. And I'm going to see you again really soon. But thank you so much for all of this and for being part of my amazing team. As I said, when we first met on a Good Friday, and I'll always tell that story. It was a very good Friday for me.
Oh, thank you. And stay safe.
I will. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.